Welcome on this episode of Accessible, Escape Under the Moroccan Sun. Today I invite you into Marrakech, a city in the heart of southern Morocco, nestled at the foot of the majestic Atlas Mountains. It's a place where elegance lives in every detail, from mosaic courtyards to the rhythm of the Medina. Marrakech has long inspired the greats, including Yves Saint Laurent, who found here a world of color, soul, and beauty. Today, it's our turn to draw inspiration, to feel and to connect. Let's go! Join me and welcome to Marrakech. Bonjour et bienvenue sur cet nouvel épisode d'Accessible, Évasion sous le soleil du Maroc. Aujourd'hui, je vous emmène à Marrakech, ville située au cœur du Maroc, au pied des majestueuses montagnes de l'Atlas. C'est un lieu où l'élégance se vit dans chaque détail, des cours en mosaïque au rythme envoûtant de la Médina. Marrakech a longtemps inspiré les plus grands, notamment Yves Saint Laurent, qui a trouvé un monde de couleurs, d'âme et de beauté. Et aujourd'hui, c'est à notre tour d'y épuiser l'inspiration, de ressentir et de nous connecter à cette ville sophistiquée mais ô combien mystique. Bienvenue à Marrakech. Alors, nous voici donc à notre villa où je vais vous introduire notre chef. We are here at our villa where I'm going to introduce you to my chef. She has been cooking all day and making some beautiful dishes for us and Moroccan dishes. She'll be able to let us know a little bit about it. So, we are going to go meet Saloua. Our private chef. Donc nous allons rencontrer Saloua, notre chef privé ici, donc à Marrakech. Hello.
Hello, Mrs. How are you?
I'm good, thank
good.
you.
You are welcome in the house here and in Marrakech.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You.
I know you prefer to speak in French, so
Yeah.
we will do our little talk together in French. Donc depuis qu'on est arrivé, vous nous avez gâtés avec beaucoup de magnifiques plats que vous nous avez cuisinés. D'abord, dites-moi, vous, est-ce que vous êtes habitant de Marrakech, est-ce que vous êtes de cette région?
Oui, je suis née et j'habite à Marrakech. Mon origine, c'est pas marrakchi, mais je suis berbère.
Oui.
Soucia. Mais mes parents, ils sont nés à Marrakech et moi aussi.
D'accord.
Voilà.
Et qu'est-ce que vous pourriez me dire, ce que vous aimez, bien sûr le Maroc c'est votre pays,
oui.
Ce que vous aimez, donc ce que vous attire le plus, ce que vous aimez le plus dans le Maroc, mais aussi ici à Marrakech.
Bon, au Maroc, il y a plusieurs, il y a de la nature, il y a du soleil, il y a de pluie, il y a tout. Il y a, il était, comment je te dis, il y a du changement. Voilà, il y a du change. Mais vraiment, il y a les plages qui sont très beaux ici à Marrakech, surtout au nord. Au nord, oui. Il était des meilleures plages. Mais à Marrakech, il a notre
vibration.
Oui. Il était différent que le Maroc. Il était différent. Même tous les Marocains, ils aiment bien venir à Marrakech. Oui. Même dans les petites vacances. Oui. Il vient toujours à Marrakech
durant les vacances scolaires.
Oui.
Ce que nous avons remarqué avec notre équipe quand nous sommes arrivés ici, c'est la sécurité.
Oui.
On se sent vraiment en sécurité. Les petits-enfants sont en train de traverser la route, tout le monde s'arrête. Donc, racontez-nous, parce que c'était très intéressant de voir ça, les enfants qui font de l'autostop.
Pour les enfants ils ont l'habitude, surtout au cours de l'année,
Oui.
quand ils rentrent de l'école.
Oui.
Alors l'école, elle était un peu loin de sa maison.
Oui.
Alors ils font, c'est une
Habitude.
méthode. Oui.
D'accord. C'est une habitude.
C'est pas juste habitude, mais c'était une moyen facile.
Oui.
Pour revenir très vite à sa maison. Oui. À part qu'il attend le bus ou les taxis, c'est plus vite.
D'accord.
Voilà.
Et c'était vraiment très, très intéressant. Donc, il faisait l'autostop. Alors, c'est une mobilette qui s'est arrêtée.
Oui.
Et le petit, il est monté derrière et puis lui montrer au monsieur où est-ce qu'il faut aller. Et on a remarqué une fois, deux fois. Là, on s'est dit non, mais c'est vraiment dans les habitudes.
Oui.
Et ce qui vous montre quand même que c'est vraiment, je pense, l'un des rares pays, en tout cas région où on peut faire ça. Puisque maintenant, on fait très attention à la sécurité des enfants. Donc, à tout le monde, mais surtout les enfants. Donc, c'était incroyable de ce qu'on a fait comme expérience.
C'est tout ça, c'est à grâce de la sécurité nationale. Ils font vraiment, ils font le maximum pour être le Maroc. Il était très sécurisé.
Très sécurisé. Oui. Et nous avons sorti aussi un petit peu hier soir dans la ville. Et c'est vrai qu'il y a partout, c'est bien gardé. Il y a une présence policière quand même assez importante, mais on se sent bien, on se sent en sécurité. J'étais très, très étonnée par ça. Donc, allons-y, parlons plus maintenant donc de votre cuisine. So, my chef Salwa is going to explain to you what she made yesterday for us.
For yesterday, I make the chicken pie.
Vous pouvez parler en français si c'est plus
D'accord.
Plus confortable.
J'ai fait hier soir, j'ai fait une pastilla poulet.
Oui.
C'était une traditionnelle plat. Surtout ici, traditionnel. On met avec du paille.
Oui.
Du paille de chicken, poulet.
Oui.
Des amandes et des œufs.
Et des œufs.
Et des œufs, oui. Et après, j'ai mis aussi un tagine berbère.
Oui.
C'est un tagine de lame, d'agneau.
D'agneau.
C'est un tagine d'agneau avec de légumes.
De légumes.
Ça, c'est un tagine berbère
Oui.
qui était connu très bien ici au Maroc.
Au Maroc.
Oui. Et j'ai mis aussi une tarte. Non, j'ai fait une taboulé.
Oui, un taboulé qui était très, 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 très bon.
Merci. J'ai fait une taboulé, c'est une semoule avec des tomates, des oignons, des persils, de menthe.
Oui, de la menthe.
De la menthe et de sel, poivre, et jus de citron, huile d'olive.
Et l'huile d'olive.
Oui.
C'était vraiment délicieux, vraiment tagine différent de ce que j'aurais pu goûter dans les restaurants marocains. Généralement, c'est vraiment pas pareil.
Oui, ça c'est pour le tagine. Il était d'habitude, la plupart des maisons au Maroc, ils l'utilisent chaque jour.
Chaque jour.
Oui, chaque jour. C'est un plat principal. Oui.
Vraiment, vraiment, vraiment délicieux. Et
merci.
Ce soir, qu'est-ce que vous nous préparez?
Ce soir, on fait une harira. C'est une soupe marocaine.
Donc une soupe marocaine.
Oui, c'était avec des lentilles, de tomates, de céleri, persil, pois chiches.
Wow.
De pois chiches. Et ça, c'est qu'on s'appelle harira. Et c'était un plat, surtout au ramadan.
Que les personnes mangent durant le ramadan.
Durant le ramadan, chaque jour.
D'accord.
On met chaque jour. Oui, tous les jours.
Et pourquoi? Parce que c'est consistant?
Non. Juste une habitude.
D'accord,
oui.
d'accord.
Oui. C'est comme un plat spécial pour Ramadan.
D'accord.
Voilà.
Très bien.
Et après, je vais faire une tagine.
Le plat principal.
Oui. Le plat principal, c'est du bœuf avec du pruneau et des abricots.
Oui. Très bien.
Ça, c'est un plat qu'on fait dans les fêtes. Les fêtes, les mariages et tout. Oui. C'est un plat spécial.
D'accord.
Et après, je vais faire du riz.
Du riz.
avec
Le maïs.
maïs, oui.
Voilà, j'ai jamais mangé le riz au maïs. J'ai mangé le riz dans noix de coco,
Oui.
j'ai mis avec le lait de coco, riz, mais j'ai jamais
Non, tu vas aimer.
Oui.
J'espère que tu vas aimer.
Oui.
Avec des oignons et de maïs.
Ah, j'en suis sûre. Ça a l'air d'être délicieux. Et en dessert, c'était très intéressant.
En dessert, on va faire des oranges à la cannelle.
Des oranges à la cannelle.
À la cannelle.
Très bien.
Oui, avec de la menthe et du miel.
Et du miel.
Oui.
Bon, ben ça promet d'être un plat très intéressant, d'être un plat délicieux pour ce soir. En tout cas, merci beaucoup de nous
Merci
gâter
à toi.
autant.
Merci. J'espère que vous passez avec nous un bon séjour.
Oui, ben j'en suis sûre qu'on passera un
Merci.
magnifique 15 jours ici à Marrakech. On a plein de choses à découvrir,
Oui,
plein de
bien
choses
sûr.
à voir.
Il y a beaucoup de choses que tu peux voir à Marrakech.
Oui. D'ailleurs, demain, nous allons partir toute la journée pour justement montrer à nos auditeurs ce merveilleuse ville qui est Marrakech.
Merci
voilà,
beaucoup.
en tout cas, merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
Et puis,
Merci.
on se retrouve de toute façon tout à l'heure.
Tout à l'heure, bien sûr.
Bien sûr. Du dîner.
Merci.
Merci.
Merci à vous.
Welcome in the Jardin Majorelle, where I'm so happy to have you together with us. This garden was built in 1926, created by Jacques Majorelle. He brings together all those beautiful plants from faraway lands to create wonderful colors and vibration, verdoyant green landscape that is amazingly well done, designed and put in place here in the Jardin Majorelle in Marrakech. Welcome. So the idea of Jacques Majorelle in 1923, when he wanted to create this beautiful botanical garden, as you have seen so far, it was to bring all the colors together and also to take all those plants from all around the world to make them live together. And I can tell you it's a beautiful harmony of nature, colors, as if they are singing together. As you could see now, here is some olive trees. You have seen some young cactus, old cactus, giant cactus, but also palm trees, banana plant, and laurier. We call that the laurier, which is the beautiful plant with the white flowers. So I hope you're enjoying this visit as much as we are. Here, as you can see, you have the giant cactus from the Americas, so in the desert of Americas. So we are still into the Jardin Majorelle here in Marrakech, and I am encountered these two beautiful ladies that are here with me, and they were happy to appear on our program Accessible. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. I'm going to start with you. Tell me about your name.
My name is Jasmine and I'm from New York City.
You're Jasmine, you're from New York City. So what's bring you What's bring you here in Marrakech?
I love to travel. This is my first time in the African continent, and when I travel, I just get inspiration about style, about people, about culture. I like to immerse myself in different cultures, so I've been enjoying my time here. It's been beautiful, fabulous. Everybody has been very nice, and I love it.
Okay, very well. Just a little bit. Where have you been? Where have you traveled? In Europe? Before Marrakech, where were you?
Before Marrakech, we were in Portugal. So we went to Lisbon and Sintra, and we just came to Marrakech yesterday.
Very nice.
Yes.
And you know my studio, my formal studio is in Portugal. I mean,
wow.
So I was curious, what do you think about Portugal, even though we're not in Portugal, just to know a little bit what you thought about it.
I love Portugal. I feel like the culture was very rich. The architecture was extremely beautiful. They have a very rich history, and they have a very rich Afro history, which is something that is very important to me as well. We're here with our travel group called Take Off with Tiffany.
Nice.
Yes, so we travel the world. We experience new cultures, Afro culture specifically. So that's something that we really appreciated about Lisbon, Portugal.
And Portugal, and I'm sure here in Marrakech it must have been very inspiring for you with all those colors and vibrations. So tell me, what do you do? What's your line of work? Is that because of...
Yes, so I actually work in fashion. I work in New York City as a business supervisor for Prada. So I love being inspired by different fashion. The colors, the uniqueness of the culture is very inspiring to me in my personal fashion.
Very nice. You look amazingly beautiful. I think our viewers will agree with that. And I am so grateful of you, Jasmine, willingly to talk to us here from Accessible. So do you remember we were doing the other day Elegance Éternelle, our last episode on fashion, so little I knew that I will meet you today, and maybe next time we could appear together, because we do go to New York as well to film.
I would
so
love
next
to.
time we will be maybe able to have you on our show, our program, talking about fashion, talking about what you're doing in fashion industry as a Prada supervisor. So tell me, what is your inspiring today? Was it just you pick up? How did you?
Yes, so I like to immerse myself in the culture. So I know that Morocco, Marrakech is all about modesty, caftan. So I got this little caftan. This is actually from H&M. And my bag is from Amazon.
Very nice. Yes. And I love your earrings, matching very nicely.
This is from Lisbon.
This is from Lisbon.
Yes.
Okay, very, very nice. Perfect. Very, very nice. And now we're going to turn to your friend here, who is also accompanying you on this tour. Donc, ici, on va parler en français, si c'est possible. Bonjour Daniel, merci beaucoup d'avoir accepté de me rencontrer dans le Jardin Majorelle et de me parler. Je viens tout juste de rencontrer Daniel. Et Daniel, dites-moi, qu'est-ce qui vous amène ici à Marrakech?
Bon, je suis en voyage avec un groupe qui s'appelle Take Off with Tiff. Des dames très gentilles, très belles, qui viennent de partout, aux États-Unis, mais aussi qui viennent de New York. Nous sommes toutes de New York.
D'accord.
Et avant d'arriver à Marrakech, nous étions à Portugal.
D'accord.
On a visité Lisbonne.
Oui.
C'était vraiment plein d'émotions pour moi, parce que c'était ma première fois en Europe. Et maintenant, c'est ma première fois en Afrique.
En Afrique,
Et je visite le Maroc. Marrakech est enchantant, et je suis totalement éblouie par le jardin, les gens, la culture, tout est merveilleux. Oui. Je suis ravie d'être ici avec vous.
Ben, merci, moi aussi. En tout cas, merci beaucoup d'avoir accepté spontanément de nous parler. Et dites-moi, vous faites quoi dans la vie?
Je suis écrivain.
D'accord.
Alors, je travaille sur mon deuxième roman présentement. Mon premier s'appelle Salt.
Oui.
Sel.
Sel. Oui, salt, oui.
Oui, c'est disponible sur Amazon. Et maintenant, le deuxième s'appellera Sugar.
Sugar, d'accord.
Et j'écris souvent sur la culture, la famille et la magie.
Et la magie, d'accord.
La magie interne, la magie de la communauté, la force de l'amour. Et comment ça change le monde.
D'accord.
Donc, c'est vraiment ça mon focus.
Très bien. Et j'en suis sûre que Marrakech vous inspire?
De toutes les façons. Vraiment, la culture. Et comme je vous ai dit, c'est la première fois que je visite l'Afrique. Et pour moi, je suis pleine d'émotions. Parce que dès que j'ai touché le sol, je me suis dit, je suis chez moi.
Ah, wow.
Et je me retrouve spirituellement, émotionnellement. Et j'ai hâte de vraiment continuer à explorer et à apprendre de plus en plus de tous les pays d'Afrique. Le Maroc, bien sûr, en premier, parce que c'est ici que je me trouve, mais aussi j'aimerais visiter partout en Afrique le plus possible.
D'accord. En tout cas, mille merci Daniel, mille merci.
Enchantée.
And so Daniel's romance, and she is a writer, is on Amazon. So salt and sugar.
Yes.
Merci. Of course, we couldn't leave the Jardin Majorelle without Yves Saint Laurent, who had all his inspiration from here, from the beginning of his career until the end. So, Yves Saint Laurent is a must-see here in the Jardin Majorelle, the Yves Saint Laurent Museum. Yves Saint Laurent found deep inspiration in Marrakech's vibrant colors, exotic atmosphere, and traditional clothing, which influenced his collection by incorporating Moroccan motifs, fabrics, and silhouettes, like the revisited kaftan and djellaba. He was so captivated by the city that he purchased a home in Marrakech together with his longtime business partner Pierre Berger, and they visited frequently Marrakech, using it as a laboratory for his design, creating pieces that mixed traditional Moroccan elements with new styles. The city lights, interact architecture, and rich culture all contribute to Saint Laurent's innovative and celebrated design. The most popular site for Moroccan leather production is in Fez. However, in other cities, such as Marrakech, we can also find similar centuries-old tanneries. Artisans still handcraft leather with natural dyes, turning tradition into the city's iconic bags, slippers, belts, and many more leather crafting. Thank you to Abdo for taking the time to show us around.
Color limestone. Me here the big one tannery, Marrakech. Two family here, family Arab and family Berber. Family Arabs more leather sheep, goat, Berber big leather cow and camel. First color limestone, lime soft hair. After pigeon poop ammoniac. After saffron for change smell, for change the color. Finish the color mimosa flower. After drying the roof, dry leather roof, the outside Medina roof. After the house soft.
We can go on top of the roof?
Yes. After finish soft the house.
Okay. And you make bags
Yeah.
after?
After souk artisanal slipper, shoes, bag, jacket. Here only by hand, not machine.
Exactly.
Looking first color this way. First color limestone. Come. This is house the pigeon. House the pigeon poop ammoniac. Salamu alaikum. This is finish the color mimosa flower. This is mimosa. After finish the mimosa, after dry roof. Look, this is finished. Leather inside. This is mimosa. So nice smell, mimosa. This is flower.
Hard job, no?
Yeah. First, leather seam like this. After soft, the salt, water, cleaning salt, water. After limestone, soft the hair. Look. Soft the hair. Come on, this way. This is from sheep leather. This is hair of. Hair of women Atlas Mountain make carpet. This for make the carpet jallaba intense. Limestone soft the hair. It's only water. Water for cleaning the color.
Okay.
Cleaning the color, pigeon poop and limestone. After this. This is ammonia. Ammoniac. Ammoniac. This is flour. Look. Flour. Flour. This is mimosa flour. Sheep. Sheep leather. Sheep leather, yeah. Touch. Touch. After soft.
Okay. Okay.
Finish.
Very different.
Yeah.
This is how they make
This
the
is
bags.
soft.
Yes.
This is not soft. This is soft.
And now it's missing just to color.
Only
to put the
yeah
flower.
for color this
Okay.
natural color.
Yes.
Yes.
From the timeless craft of leather, our path now leads us to Najib, our guide through the soul of the Medina.
Okay, if you don't mind, I want to give you a little idea about the history of Marrakech to understand where we are. And after that, if you have any questions, I am here to answer. Okay, as you know, Marrakech is the city founded exactly in 1062. 1062, it means 11th century. And Marrakech, it was capital 3 times in Moroccan history. Marrakech, it was capital 11th century, 12th century, and 16th century. 11, 12, and 16. But the time when Marrakech it was capital for a great empire. The border in the past, it wasn't as like the border today. In the past, all the North Africa, south of Spain, and part of Portugal, all those countries were one country, and Marrakech it was capital for all those countries. And why Marrakech it was very important? Because Marrakech it was a capital for caravan. I am sure you hear a lot about caravan. Trading at the time, it was by camel. Strong country at the time, we talk about caravan, not as like today. Today, when you talk about strong country, we talk about big ports, big airports, and services. But before in Africa, we talk about caravan road. And that time in Asia, we talk about Silk Road with the Chinese. Africa, we talk about caravan road. And exactly, we had some product at that time. We had gold, salt, spices. Gold, salt, and spices. Sure, we had lots of things also, but this is the main things: gold, salt, and the spices. Gold, why gold? Because the gold, it comes from the city, it's called Timbuktu. I don't know if you know the richest man in history, he was from Africa. The richest man in history, he was from the city, it's called Timbuktu. This guy, he lived exactly in 1324, and he had half of the gold belonged to him. Half of the gold in the world belonged to this guy, and he was from the city, it's called Timbuktu. And Timbuktu is a city in the country, it's called Mali. And from Mali to Marrakech, it means from Timbuktu to Marrakech, this is why the gold, it was part of the caravan. Second, salt. I am not talking about the salt from the sea, I am talking about the salt from the mountain. Why? One, it was rare. Two, it was a secret. To make it, it wasn't easy. And the monopoly to make it at that time, it was by Moroccan Jewish. The Moroccan Jewish, they had the monopoly to make salt. This is what the Jewish quarter in Morocco, in Marrakech also, it's called Millah. And the meaning of the word Millah, it comes from Milh, it means salt. And maybe, as you know, salt at the time, it was a currency, it was a money. People were paid by salt. This is how we have the word of the salary. Salary come from salt, because I pay you by salt, I give you salary. Le salaire, il vient du sel. As you know, we do salt and we do salary. We do salt and we do a salary. The third one, spices. Why spices? Because in Morocco, we have some spice. We don't find them outside of Morocco. One of the spice, maybe you heard about it before. No, we called it ras al hanout. Did you hear about it? It's a special blend of the 35 spices in one. It's kind of mixture between 35 spices in Morocco. We say it's good spice for people. They don't know how to cook. Put it in your dish and everything. It will be delicious. Okay, gold salt spices. Marrakech, 11th century, 100,000 inhabitants. 100,000 inhabitants in Marrakech in 11th century. In the same time in London, it was only 60,000. In Paris, it was only 20,000. As I said, it was a great city at that time, Marrakech. Marrakech, as like all Moroccan cities, divided into parts. New city outside of the wall. You've been in the morning when you visit the garden, and the old city where we are.
Where we are here now. This is the Medina.
This is
where we are right now in the Medina with our guide. So tell me a little bit about the story of
the Medina. Okay, the Medina of Marrakech is about 700 acres. 700 acres, 35,000 houses, 9,000 alleyways. And when you walk in the old city or the Medina of Marrakech, everything is hidden. This is why we'll be surprised when you walk in some alleyways. Everything is very simple from outside, because the locals, they don't like to show their wealth.
And why is that? Is that a superstition?
Why they don't like to show their wealth? One, they don't like to make people uncomfortable. Why? Because if I am rich, I show you how you feel. You feel sad. I don't like this feel for you. I like that you feel happy also, even if you are poor. Second thing also, as Moroccan, they say, the Moroccans, they believe a lot about evil eye. Those people, they want to protect themselves. This is why in some locals we'll say this. We'll see hand of Fatima. We'll see a lot of time this. Why? Because those people, they believe that that's people, we have some people, they have black hearts. They are jealous. We put hand in our door to protect ourselves exactly from those people. This is why the people, they don't like to show their wealth, okay? But in the old city of Morocco and Marrakech, you have two types of the house. We'll talk about them exactly when you will be inside of the old city. In the old city of Marrakech, it's about 300,000 inhabitants. 300,000 inhabitants in the old city of Marrakech. Please, if you don't mind, let's discover.
Yes, just to tell our viewers, so the whole city, as you call it, it says it's called Medina. So you will hear this word a lot, but it means old city.
Yes.
And so we are going to walk around to check things very casually, and then if we stop someplace, we see this is nice, we might have one or two chat about it. And so as much as we can give you, we will give you the inside of this Medina feel.
Yallah. Do you know what it means, yallah? Let's go.
Let's go.
Remember, yallah. Let's go.
And thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Shukran.
Shukran.
Yeah. And we have the same mosque as like this one in Spain, in Seville. In the Seville, we have the same twin of this one. It's called La Giralda or La Giralda. But we have the third one in Rabat.
Rabat, okay.
In Rabat, we have the third one. The difference between the three, this one, it works as like a mosque from 12th century. Still today, it's a mosque. In Seville, it works as like a mosque for 600 years. Today, it's a church. In Rabat, never functioned as like a mosque because the king, he was died before to finish the mosque of Rabat. And also the difference between the three. This one, it's 77 meters. In Rabat, 50 meters. And in Seville, it's about 90 meters. Okay, this is the difference. And this is the tallest building in Marrakech. This is the tallest building in Marrakech because in Marrakech, it's forbidden to do more than 5 floors in the new city. Why? Because they want to keep it as like the tallest building in all over Marrakech. As you know, inside of any mosque in Morocco, we have 2 sections. section for men, section for women.
Yeah.
It's roughly about 3,000 people. They can pray inside and 5,000 outside, and very busy in Ramadan, because
Yes.
Ramadan is the month when we pray a lot. This is why it's very busy at that time. You can see this is the 12th century mosque. Very simple. Why? Because those people at the time, they don't like to make anything fashion. This means they do everything simple. This is why it's very simple, but also it's very, very beautiful. Each the four sides has different decoration. If you walk around the mosque, we never say the same.
Okay.
They like to show you the beauty from different sides.
Okay.
And also, please, in the top of the mosque, you have the iron stick. The iron stick, at that time, they show you the direction of Mecca. As you know, in Morocco, the direction it's face
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia to east in Morocco, but also we use it at that time for people are deaf. Those people, they don't hear prayer call. How they know it's prayer time? For those people, we make two flags. When it's prayer time, we make white flag in the iron stick. It's a message to the deaf people, please, it's the time to come. When it's done, we make black one.
Black one.
It's finished, you can pray in your home because it's finished.
Yeah.
But it was in the past, but today everyone has his phone. We know the time exactly from
Very
our
good.
phone. When we died, everyone forget us, except the generous people will never forget them. She was very generous. She sacrificed her life to the others. When she passed away, we make special grave for this woman, and also we paint this building with white to show you that she had white heart.
Ah, very nice. Very good.
And this is why they painted
it's a
with
mausoleum.
white. A mausoleum. And a lot of people exactly from Marrakech, they come there, exactly, they bring with them the candles to be inside to light the candles. Exactly, it's kind of bringing good luck, or sometimes hoping something's exactly children or wife or husband.
This is the local life of the Medina, there where we are going now. It's so nice walking around. As you can see, people will circulate on this type of motorbike.
Yeah.
They're flying in and out, going
Yes.
in and out in the Medina.
You have a lot of guest house
Hostel,
inside.
you have a lot of- so
lots
there's
of
lots-
guest house. We call them riad.
So if you never come to the Medina, there is a lot of, you were saying,
Guest house riad. We
It's
call them
called
riad.
riad.
We'll see some of them when you walk in the alleyways. As you know, the riads inside you have a fountain.
yeah,
We have a garden.
yeah.
We have also the courtyard, the house. It's open from inside to the sky. And also, as you know, why people they have a fountain inside? Because as you know, today, in all over the world, they use the sound of the water as like therapeutic.
Oh, nice.
Those people, they understood the idea 1,000 years before. This is why a lot of headache in the market, when they come back to their houses, they switch on the fountain and they come down when they hear this kind of sound. And also, as you know, Morocco, it's very famous by orange blossom. We put a drop of orange blossom in the water.
Yes, yes,
And you
to
have good
feel,
smell.
yes,
Do
yeah.
you know why also we have good smell? Because the Moroccans, they believe that a lot, that when you smell this orange blossom, you come down. This is why the people, they have insomnia, they can put 2 drops of orange blossom behind the ears and they can sleep all the night.
Okay.
But please, just 2 drops, no more. If you do more, you sleep for a week. It's not good for you.
Very good. So it's good to know about that
Yeah.
instead of taking tablets.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can find some orange blossom.
Blossom, wow.
So we are going to enter Koutoubia Herbal, where we are going to meet Lubna, our beautiful shopkeepers, but she's also a pharmacist, scientist. She knows a lot about health, natural well-being. You're going to enter this shop where you're going to be amazed by the beautiful courtyard of the shop, the decoration, but also all the herbs, natural perfume and soap that they have here. So it is also used here, Kutubia Herbal, as a pharmacist. So she is also a pharmacist. So if you never visit the Medina, do not hesitate to stop by. Enter, please. Thank you. Moroccan oil.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
It's
yes.
same as argan, but
Yeah.
there is a huge difference between what we do produce in here
Yeah.
as argan oil and what they sell over the road
Outside,
as
yes.
Moroccan oil. Okay, so that comes from this tree. It's a kind of tree that grew up only here in Morocco, and it's named argan tree or the tree. of
Argan
goats.
tree. Yes, yes. You have
see?
lots of. Oh, yes.
Goats that
The
climb
goats.
up in order to eat the fruits. But the problem is when they do that, I mean, when they eat the fruits, they just swallow everything and throw the seeds by the poops.
Oh, wow.
And to make the oil, we don't get them from there. It's not like the coffee beans story, you know. We have to get actually the whole fruit straight away from the tree. As you can see right here at the beginning, they looks like olives. But when we dry them, they becomes like a little dates. I mean, like this. See? So we just have to remove the shell or the thin cover which is around to obtain only this. And it's not finished yet. We have to crack this with a stone to break it, in order to get the tiny kernel that is inside.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So we put the kernels in here. We grind them traditionally. Then they goes to like a paste. And after having a good amount of that paste, we add warm water. Separate the paste into little pieces like that, as you can see, and we squeeze by hands, and the oil comes out. In general, argan oil comes in two different types. One for skin, and one for food.
Food.
To eat.
Yes, yes.
The only
yes.
difference is that to make the food or the edible argan oil kernels need to be roasted first.
Okay.
Why would you roast them first? Because at the rocher they are so bitter. When we roast them, that reduces actually the bitterness. Okay.
In some products that I use, I do see argan oil in for the hair. Like
So I will explain to
with
you.
what is that a different tree?
Which is which?
Oh, okay.
No, it's the same tree.
Okay.
The same process, the same oil. Okay. I will show you how we tell also the difference between the real and the fake argan oil, and for what it is good and for what we use it. Okay. So this way, please. So this is normally the one that we use for eating.
Yeah, eating you can smell it.
To use, for example, to dress salads, to add it on the top of the food, to make also some marinades, not to cook with.
Yes.
Why? As I mentioned, the kernels are roasted before.
Yeah.
If we heat it up again, we will ruin all the health benefits. It's much better that we keep it fresh or cool.
Fresh.
Okay? The one for skin, or the cosmetic one in general, as you can smell it, that comes with no scent.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that makes sense,
Yeah,
because normally the kernels, when they stay raw, they don't have any smell. Automatically the oil has to be the same thing, no smell. If we find that it smells nice, perfumed, be sure that is not
It's
real
not.
cosmetic. Avoid using the smell or the oil that get a smell on face.
On face,
Because almost time they do mix it with essential oils, and that might burn or irritate our skin. And when we test it like that, the skin normally absorbs it so quick and it doesn't stay oily or greasy. Okay? That's how we tell if it is real, not a fake argan oil. Would you mind to try it? Do you mind to rub it on, please? Would you like to have some?
Like
Why
there's
not?
no smell.
No
nothing.
smell, exactly. Not greasy or oily at all.
No.
And actually, that's the same oil that goes for everything.
Okay.
From the top to the bottom of our body.
Okay.
We use it as a serum on face at night, like antioxidant and anti-aging, because argan oil is rich on several vitamins that gives elasticity to our skin. So automatically that helps to White lines from the face, good also to use for the hair. Same oil, no
yes.
need to butter ourselves.
Yes.
Same oil can work also for the hair.
Okay,
It helps against the dandruff, the dry scalp if it's
Yeah.
itchy. Even when we do mix it with other oils, it helps to stop the hair fall and it enhances the hair growth. To rub on nails is so good because it helps to fortify them. Even for the cuticles is so good. And it's very recommended for the very dry and itchy skin.
Itchy skin.
Like eczema, psoriasis, and dermatitis. Well, here we get, please, this combination of argan.
Now you can smell. You
Exactly.
have a smell of a spice. What is?
It's actually a combination of 5 oils: argan, arnica, lavender, rosemary,
Yeah,
and
very
peppermint.
nice, very nice.
That's what we use more for massage. Okay, not only for relaxing massage, it's good also for like pain or inflammations in general. And one of the very famous smells in Marrakech is the lovely orange blossom. May I?
Yes, we heard about it. Makes you sleep.
That's, yeah, not only to sleep, but also to calm down nervous. You know, that's so recommended when we have a stress, anxiety, or insomnia problem. Only 2 drops behind
behind
the
the
ears.
ears is what I just did.
If not, we can use also 2 drops on temples or the top of the nose.
The nose, you
Not
sleep.
all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
If not, we're gonna sleep for like a week, okay? And this is rose. Well, the rose is the one that helps against some scars and insects bites. May I?
Yeah.
And this is the prickly pear seed oil. Rub it on, please. With verbena and green tea. Smell it. That smells very lovely. Very soft as a smell, and that's the one that helps against the brown and the dark spots.
Okay.
You know, like the aging spots, sunspots, freckles, and pigmentation of skin in general. Can you smell this one?
Wow.
It's actually a big.
Wow. That's.
This is the Nigella sativa. Yeah, mixed with the peppermint crystals. Okay.
This is crystals for the bath.
No, we can use it for the bath if we like. And we can also use it like for the inflated and swollen legs and feet.
Oh, okay.
That's peppermint.
Yeah.
And I show you a clever way to use it, but not for the bath, to solve the problem of sinuses, cold, flu, hay fever, allergies, and snoring.
Oh.
Just a little bit like that in small piece of cloth, you see? We form like a little bowl. Okay. We have to rub well to warm it up. Close one nostril and smell slow and deep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like peppermint.
That's like, let's go. It's like Vicks actually.
Wow, it's really
You like to
clear.
try it?
Your
Why
own
not?
nasal.
Yeah. That's so helpful.
Whoa.
Not only will we have cold
Oh, you
or
can
flu,
breathe.
I can do it for you.
This is better than any spray. like
Exactly.
any water spray.
Exactly, or any kind of a Vicks, you know?
If you have a cold, it's amazing.
Not only for cold, it helps also for like sinuses, hay fever,
okay,
allergies.
okay.
Sometimes when we get migraines and headaches,
Yes.
it's like a natural Vicks, you know?
Oh yes.
The interesting point that we can use the same bowl many times a day with no side effect. And even though we do that, at the end, put the seeds back in a container. And if you get like this quantity, we can keep using it for many years. They don't lose the smell or the effect.
Wow.
Okay? And concerning the natural solid perfumes, this is please the white musk, may I? What we use as a natural perfume. To rub like that on the body after a shower. It keeps a very nice smell.
Really nice.
This is the white musk.
Yeah.
And that's the one that we use more, sorry, the amber that we use more for the armpit.
Armpit, yeah.
As a
amber,
natural deodorant, exactly. Concerning the spices, this is one of the very famous combinations.
It's like saffron.
No, this is 35 spices, or ras al hanout in Arabic.
Oh wow.
Is typically Moroccan. Is the one that we use for lamb, beef, vegetables, tagine, and couscous.
Okay.
You know that in Morocco, we say this is recommended for people who don't know how to cook because it hides all the mistakes and it gives a very nice flavor. And this is the pure saffron.
Oh yeah, I can smell it.
Yeah. You know that normally that's how we tell if it is real, not a fake. It has to be a strong smell, a bit bitter, like or earthy, like green tea or dry mint. And the color must be red, not yellow.
Not yellow.
Then when we mix it with water, it turns definitely to the yellow color. Okay, it's the spice that we use normally for flavor, for the color, and for the taste too. So let's just say, for example, a dish of 7 to 10 people, just a pinch normally like that. And the best way to use it is to pour it first in hot water. Let it sit for a while, then add this infusion to our water. Do you know that Morocco is the only country in Africa? Nowhere else in Africa that there is saffron, only in Morocco. We are the only country. In Europe, as we know, there is Spain and Greece. We're talking about the big quantities per year, of course. Asia, there is Iran, India, and Afghanistan, okay? That's one of the reasons for why saffron is expensive, because it's rare, okay? And here we get, please, our royal Berber tea. As you can see, is a combination of many herbs and flowers with no green, no black tea. Just dip it in water, leave it in infusion for a few minutes. We filter it and we serve it. It's good after, after breakfast because it helps to get a good boost for energy, for memory, bad blood circulation too, like when we have a problem with cold hands and cold feet.
This is for the armpit, and I'm trying one which I like really much, very much, and I'm actually getting it. So it's going to use, I will be using it as a deodorant.
A deodorant, but it doesn't stop normally the perspiration. It helps only to get a nice smell. Without.
So would it be the best to use it after the shower?
Much better. Every time we use a deodorant or perfume, much better to be on.
This is what I do.
After shower.
Yeah, perfect. So I will choose the stone that I.
No, actually, all of them are
all of the same.
But
Okay.
just I like to.
Because you said to me choose a stone, so I thought. Thank you. I choose one.
So, and that's the one that we talk about.
So with orange, so we're going to put this behind your ears to relax if you have a headache, temples. Yes, but you say not too much.
No, not all of them.
Yes, otherwise you'll
2
sleep.
drops right here. If not 2 drops on temples or 2 drops on the top of the nose.
Perfect. So I'm going to get some perfume that I can use just right after my shower, made from real musk. And so the best is, so it's sold like this, and the best is just right after the shower you put it around, and the smell stays for the whole day or the whole evening if you're going to bed. So of course, if you have your favorite perfume, you don't have to. You shouldn't mix it. This is really to wear on its own, and it also prevents headache. So I like the musk, and I know it's one of my scents that I like very much, and so I'm choosing the musk today.
This is the bark of the walnut, named in Arabic swag.
So
siwak.
Bark of the walnut, names in Arabic
siwak.
Exactly. And it's for teeth whitening.
Okay. And to use it, we don't rub all this like that. No, we just have to cut. Take a little piece like this. Look, please. We just chew it a little
gently
bit, to become like a
chewing
soft,
gum?
like a chewing gum. Then we start to rub like that. Okay, that's how it works as a teeth whitening.
And it's used only for this?
For this. It's so good also to solve the problem of the bad smell of the gum.
Okay.
Bleeding one also.
Yes.
It's very good for the teeth.
Very good. I was just wondering what it was. Thank you.
This is the fennel flower. Actually, the seeds that inside, we use them as a tea for digestion.
Oh, wow.
We mix them with some anise and caraway to make a tea for digestion. Well, this is what Moroccan people use as a natural toothpick.
Oh, okay, very good.
This is a sandal wood smell. It's a kind of a frankincense or incense that we use to burn to smell nice. You know, it's a part of our culture. We share actually using incense even in Christianity.
Yes, because I smell the... Like in,
you see, that's in order to have a nice smell in the house, and we use them also in church and mosque or synagogue.
Yes, very beautiful, very nice.
Those are
very
roses.
Nice. Yeah.
You remember the royal Berber tea that we see? It's actually something that we can use as a tea to drink, especially for, I mean, we have like a bad stomach or
cramp
too. We can make a tea to make the skin looks glowy because it's a good detox.
Okay.
From the same roses, we make rose water.
Okay.
That we use as a toner for
very
skin.
Nice, very nice.
And also we can make the rose oil that I mentioned for the scars and
okay, very nice, very good. Lubna, I wanted to thank you so much for welcoming us into your beautiful shop here.
Thank you.
So you are going to have viewers from all around the world watching you today.
Thank you.
Tonight, tomorrow, and they're going to learn a lot on the natural herbs and health as well.
Of course,
how you can heal a headache, etc. from natural herbs and scents and
exactly.
foods.
That's the part of view is keeping the nature to solve a lot of problems like many disease, many illnesses. So come to Marrakech to enjoy it.
Come to Lubna, and this shop is inside of the Medina. So remember, Medina is the old city.
Exactly.
And you open every day.
We are opening every day from 9 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And she is a brilliant, I may say, pharmacist because you know everything about health and everything. So we'll be able to. You will be able to have a lot of advice coming from her.
I'm sure you will not. You will not regret coming to see.
I'm sure
this store. Okay.
So far, Marrakech has been amazing. Has been like really something very unique that we have experiencing here with the cruise. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Can I give you a hug? Thank you very much for welcoming us.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
I am sure when you come to Morocco, in your opinion, the Moroccans are Arabs.
Yes.
We are not. No, we are Amazigh. Amazigh, or Tamazigh's language. From left to right, the Arabic from right to left.
Yeah.
32 letters, 32 letters. And in the Amazigh, we have more than 125 tribes. And each tribe has our motif, design, dress. If you see my dress, you know that I am Amazigh exactly from the Sahara. Each tribe has our dress. It's a meaning, it's a passport. Because in the past, we don't have ID cards, we don't have passports. With the dress, you give me the identity.
So this is a very interesting information to have. So Moroccan are not Arabs, they are Amazigh. And then from that they have several tribes, which I didn't know. You see, I read about it, but I still thought that you have some sources from Arabic.
No, because the Berber, the Amazigh, more than 5,000 years in this part of the world. The Arabs, they were here only in 9th century. They brought Islam and they brought Arabic language.
So what was the religion then before?
Before the Islam, as you know in Morocco, we have Judaism.
Okay.
We have Judaism. This is why the Jewish in Morocco is the kind of second religion in Morocco. Judaism is the second religion in Morocco. This is why in every neighborhood in Morocco, we have Jewish quarter. Still today, we have a synagogue everywhere. This is why the Jewish and the Muslim here in Morocco, they are brothers and they are sisters. No one can judge anyone. God can judge us. It was 1,000 years before, still today have the same meaning.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Please.
Merci.
Of course.
You don't live for tomorrow. You live day by day.
This is why in every single neighborhood we have vegetables and fruit markets. Why? Because the locals, they want to buy what they want for daily. The idea of supermarkets, no way. This is why people, they don't talk about see you tomorrow.
It's now.
Today.
Today.
Okay. Please, when you walk in the old city, sometimes in the doors, we can see two knockers.
Yeah. Two. Why two?
Two knockers. The knockers.
Yeah. Why two? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we see one behind you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see three.
Sometimes three.
Three.
So sometimes two knockers, one and three.
Okay, if you see two knockers, two families live inside.
Okay.
One knocker, one family live inside. Three knockers, three families live inside, because not the same sound. And each family knows their sound.
My world.
Okay, this is, we will observe this all the time.
Yes.
This is the answer for question. Please, this is a Jewish family. This is why you have a David star here.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
Wow.
the David star. To give you the idea, that's how is Morocco.
The details.
Yeah, the
Wow.
Moroccan, they believe for one God, and we are Jewish and we are Muslims without any problems.
Wow, this is crazy.
It's a Jewish family. This is what we can see a Star of David, with David star here. With one knocker, one family live inside.
One local, one family.
But when I was talking about the hand of Fatima,
Yep.
this is for all Muslims and the Jewish. But in Morocco, we have another hand. It's called the hand of Fatima. It points does like this one, as like Buddha hand. Can see. This is different. This is unique to Morocco. This is not against evil eye, but this one is bringing good luck.
Good luck. Okay.
It is the opposite way.
Okay.
This is we call it hand of Fatima, and behind this knocker we have eyes. This is the protection from evil eye, but also the general we add it. We do it as like a knocker, exactly to bring good luck. We call this hand of Fatima. Two knockers, two families. One knocker, one family. This is, I told you before, this is a luxury guest house. This is Riyadh.
Yes.
It's like a hotel. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
The Moroccans like cats in their houses. This is why everywhere I have cats in Morocco.
As you can see, the iron artwork. It's amazing.
This is another mausoleum. The first one we saw it before. The second one is this one here.
So who is buried here?
Okay, this guy also the same as like the woman we were talking about it before. This guy, he was also a good guy. He had a lot of opportunity to help people, to build hospitals, schools. When he passed away, we make special grief for him exactly. That the visitors come here exactly from this guy. They buy candles and they be inside, okay? They light them, okay? To hope. As you know, it's kind of believe, and the Moroccans, they believe a lot about this. And in the right side, we have windows, and some people, they put locks. If someone come with his or her master key to open, they can get what they have in their mind. It's kind of, as like in Paris, they have a bridge, they put a lock. This is the same also idea also. This is the tamazight. This is the Berber tamazight. We call it tamazight. Turkey. When you talk about immersive, not just Morocco, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Mali, Niger, Chad, Mauritania, all those countries, they speak the language. It's called Tamazight.
Walking through the Medina, I feel carried by its colors, its scents, and its vibrant energy. Every corner whispers a story, and I can't wait to share it with you.
In this puzzle where everything is happening, I'm sure for those who really like Sex and the City, this is where it was filmed, one of the parts where they are going to Dubai and they are in the Middle East. And here is this beautiful avenue street of Sex in the City.
Smile, smile.
And will you smile with me? You will say hello. Hello.
لاباس عليك؟
Pardon?
Ça va?
Oui, très bien,
bien,
très
tout va
bien.
bien.
C'est pour la télévision.
bienvenue,
C'est pour-
bonjour.
C'est pour accessible. Dis bonjour accessible. Hello accessible.
Bonjour, accessible.
Accessible. Oui.
Accessible. Bonjour, accessible.
Merci, bonne journée.
Bonne journée.
Merci.
Au revoir.
We are back with our friend Najib, who was telling me that this means
Habibi, it means my love or my heart, okay?
this is a beautiful name.
Yeah.
Beautiful name. The eye.
The eye, as
Again, you were talking
against
about
evil eye.
the devil eye.
Yes, we can see
A
in all the
beautiful
motifs here,
carpet.
we can have eye or...
Yes.
I don't know if you know Moroccan carpets. The
Yes,
Moroccan
I have a few
carpets-
in my house.
Okay, just I want to tell you one thing, it's very important. The only carpets in all over the world, it's reversible, it's Moroccan carpets.
Okay.
The only one in the world. This is for winter, this is for summer.
Okay, can you
This
see
is
this?
unique to Morocco.
This is unique Moroccan. It's only Moroccan carpet that are reversible. Summer and winter. So you have one carpet for the whole year.
Okay, this is for winter, which is like a mat.
Hello again.
And this is for a summer, with like a table.
Oh, okay.
This is like a mat, this is like a table.
Table, very
The
nice.
Moroccan are very generous. If you buy one carpet, they give you two. It's like happy hour.
Happy hour,
Happy hour,
exactly.
yeah,
So you're coming for your happy hours, are you? So go ahead.
Bought one rug, so we'll have to.
So go ahead.
Really warm.
Go ahead. So if you're never walking again around Medina and you want to get some beautiful carpets or some beautiful cushions here, stop at Mr. Fouad shop, which it calls Chateau
Berber.
Chateau Berber. So
Yeah.
and Fouad means heart. So he will serve you with all his heart.
Oh, thank you, thank you,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome.
At the sign de la Balance shop, signe de la balance, proper name in French, jewelry becomes poetry, each piece reflecting the soul of the Medina with timeless elegance. Hood El-Kadi, who is the jeweler and the sun owner, is happy to give us further explanations about the unique jewelry pieces.
Yes.
With some kind of, this is like a brush. This is like jewelry, wedding jewelry.
Oh, yes,
Normally
you
it's like
just
a brush.
pin.
Here it shows the connection of the new bride.
Of the new bridal. Oh wow. It's like Yves Saint Laurent, but in his own time, correct?
Somehow, thanks, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You have to come up with some your ideas to create all these things and to be an innovator, you know. So very, very
He
nice.
sit, he draw, he
Yes.
paint, he work with artisan. Yeah. He collects stones, he make, like for example, to make some old necklace, like for example this one, it took like a couple of years.
A couple of years to make this.
Yes, because you get this piece from here, this other piece from there, you know. So it's like there is this ones, for example, you find in the museum, same. You find in the museum. So to get it again, it's like 300 years old, 200 years old.
Yes,
So you collect some piece from here, some piece from there, so you can
very
make it
nice, very
like the
good.
original one.
Very good. Thank you very much for showing us.
Anytime, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I didn't realize you have some hidden gems.
Yeah, as I said in the first, if you remember when I was talking about the Moroccan handicrafts,
Yes.
we don't like to show it outside.
Yes.
It means in Morocco, the beauty it is always
Inside.
inside. Remember about this.
Yes.
Remember the beauty, as like a human being, the beauty
It's
inside of the
Yeah.
house also.
Yeah.
Within the Medina lies the hammam. There are several hammam in this Medina. There are centuries of steams and traditions where generations have come to clean, renew, and connect. Let's explore.
In the old city of Marrakech, we have more than 65 hammams. 65 hammams.
65 hammams, which we call sometimes Turkish bath, but it's not
But
Turkish
it's,
bath.
it's different. Yeah.
Hammam. It's different with Morocco.
This is why Moroccans, they do it once in the week. We have shower in our house, but we need to the hammam once in the week.
Yeah.
Weekly we do it, which is why in every single neighborhood we have a hammam. Remember, in every single neighborhood in Morocco we have 5 places. Remember, we have a hammam. 2, we have a mosque or synagogue, depend about your faith. 3, we have a public fountain. We'll say it in 2 minutes. The 4th one, we have vegetables and fruit market. The last one, we have the community oven, not a bakery. The community oven where the people bring the dough to be cooked in. Those 5 places make people closer to each other. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody talks to everybody.
And then choose a wife or
Everything. I am sure you don't imagine how much talk those people do every day.
No, like you said, it's like the old social media or Facebook.
Yeah, this
Wow,
is
it's
always like
amazing.
this.
I can imagine.
And as you know, Moroccan, they like to talk. Do you know why Moroccan, they like to talk?
No.
Because they have time. In our country, we have time.
Okay.
In your country, you have watches.
Watches,
This is
yes.
the difference.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah,
So this is the main section of the hammam.
And after that, you come here to have a sit, and they give you Moroccan tea
Yeah.
with some pastry.
Okay. So the men here would talk as well. Would the men talk more than the ladies, or would be the same?
They talk a lot. Yeah. To show you how we heat a hammam to make fire, we'll see where exactly they do it. If you don't have this guy here, it isn't possible to have a hammam. It isn't possible. Come in, please. زيد يا ولدي زيد. يا جبتي شي طنجية. ترجع عليها. So, this is the wood. We use it exactly for heating a hammam. Without this wood, it isn't possible to be inside to get this kind of good feeling. Come in, please. I like to show you some surprise. Come in, please, with me. معلم كي داير؟ بسم الله. هذا. Come in, please. Come in. It's very interesting. Without this guy, it isn't possible to get a hammam. Here in the left,
Oh my gosh, he stays here.
Yes, and he put wood inside. We have a pipes here to bring boiling water in the hammam.
Oh my.
Without this guy, it isn't possible to have the good feeling. But also, as you know, Marrakech is very famous by special dish. It's called tangia,
Okay.
not tagine.
Not tagine, yeah.
Tangia, it's a beef meat cooked in the ashes for 6 hours. You can see here on the left.
Oh wow.
This is the tangia.
Yeah.
It's beef meat with preserved lemon, with saffron, with 35 spices, and it's cooked in the ashes for 6 hours.
Wow.
This is speciality of Marrakech. This is very unique dish in all over Morocco. Just in the city of Marrakech, we call it tangia. If you want to get a tangia for dinner, you need to bring it in this time of the day, around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and after that, around 7, 8 o'clock, you come back here to take your tangia to bring it to your family, to eat it with your family.
Yes, yes.
This is why it's unique dish in Marrakech. We call it a tangia. It's a beef with preserved lemon and also salty butter, 35 spices and saffron.
This is your lunch déjeuner?
Yeah.
Oui, c'est votre déjeuner. Why Yves Saint Laurent loves so much Morocco? As you can see, they have beautiful fabrics all around we have seen. So give us a little insight.
Morocco is very famous by Moroccan dress, as you know. Yves Saint Laurent, he was great lover of Marrakech. He loved Marrakech, and he lived in Marrakech more than 46 years. In the first, he lived in the old city, and after that, he moved to the new city. Why he was here? Why he loved Marrakech? For two things. The first one, for colors. When he was here in Marrakech, he loved the colors of Marrakech, because as you know, Marrakech is a colorful city. The second one also, he loved Moroccan dress. We call it kaftan.
Kaftan,
Kaftan,
yes.
it's very, very popular dress in Morocco. We call it kaftan. It's very fashion dress in Morocco. This is why the day when the woman is married, she needs to wear with this dress. And sometimes it's difficult to buy it. What they do in general, they rent it and they pass from generation to generation. It means from mother to the daughter. Yeah.
And this wonderful, great creator as Yves Saint Laurent came here all the time, had a home here, and where he would buy those fabrics, use those senses for his perfume as well.
Sure.
A lot of the Yves Saint Laurent collection will be really from this kind of design, material, etc.
Around this place, they need, when they park their camels, their Moroccan 4x4. It means they need to park their camels or their mules.
Yes.
I will show you exactly how it was in the process like this.
So we have to go back in time and imagine this here had no pavements. It was just turf with camel come and go, so they have to stop somewhere to drink,
yes,
or to rest, or to be parked so that the owner can go do about the business, correct?
Yes.
So this is what we are going to see now, where they rest. I suppose it's a location.
We called it a funduk.
A funduk. I'm sorry,
remember,
I was looking for the name.
No problem,
funduk. But funduk is the name.
Yeah, this is the. We'll be inside.
Yeah.
To see how it is.
So they will come here with the camel.
They put it as like to park it here.
So they will park the camel here.
Yeah. And after that, they can move outside to do what they want.
Yes.
Business or houses or anything
Yes.
there. The next day or the same day, they can bring their camels to move outside to get what they want.
That's amazing.
It was like this. It was like this.
Yes. So the camels will be here, and all these were built, or was it
This
already?
is for storing merchandise.
Okay.
What we see here today, it was restored, renovated. But before it wasn't. It was not like this, what we see here. We store merchandise downstairs. Maybe can sleep upstairs. The people, they come as like a caravan. They don't have a house here.
Yeah.
They come parking, storing merchandise, sleeping upstairs.
Okay.
But the people living around this neighborhood, they come just to park their camels.
Yeah.
They move to their house to get what they want.
Yeah.
Maybe next day they come back again to their camels to move them to outside. We call it a funduk. Remember when you talk about the funduk, it's a kind of caravanserai or parking for camels.
Yes. So I could imagine that there was maybe a big fountain here for the camel to drink water, because I can see you have water coming up.
Yes.
Very good. That is amazing to have been able to see this. So remember the fonduk. I don't believe a lot of people knows about that. So I really thank you so much for taking us for such unique places where you won't see normally. So really you make an exception. Thank you so much. So this is how they used to weight the merchandise. So now we are taking you back in time, totally back in time. And so weight merchandise, the camel will come in here with their owners. Their owners will park them here, and they will have water and be able to eat. And you are telling me, so in this city here, you have how many fonduk?
More than 125 funduks in Marrakech, but just in this alleyway we have more than 5 or 6.
More than 5 or 6. The meaning of it, you were saying,
means that it was a great city at that time. As I said, in the 11th century in Marrakech, we have 100,000 inhabitants. 100,000 inhabitants in 11th century.
In the 11th century.
So, you know, at that time in London, it was only 60,000.
Yes. So to tell you how rich this country is and was, and so many gems, so many. I don't know how to describe, exciting things that we have seen in all kind of different forms and shapes.
Yeah, and each neighborhood give you the story about how was it.
How it was,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, really amazing. And then you have here, you have the balcony
The
up
balconies
here.
there, just rooms. As at that time, as I said, they can use them as like for sleeping,
For sleeping, yeah.
storing merchandise downstairs,
Yeah.
and they park camels here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but as you know, today is done. This is why the Moroccan government, they make some restoration, renovation, and they give it for us as artisans to make their exhibition.
Very good, very good, very good. Perfect. I hope that you have enjoyed the tour of the Medina with us, with our guide Awad. Thank you so much for having us with you, to taking us into some unique places. Final words.
Thanks to you also to be here in Morocco. As you know, Morocco people are very warm. People, they see you big welcome from the first day, and I am sure, don't hesitate to come to Morocco. It will be one of the good experience in your life. This is why I say for people all the time, Morocco not as like destination, but Morocco is experience.
Experience.
Stay with you forever.
Yes, exactly.
Big welcome. My name is Najib Tius. I am here in Morocco. I am here in Marrakech to meet you. Thank you very much. And
Thank
see
you so
maybe
much.
another.
Thank you.
Nice to
I'm
meet you.
sure I will see you soon again,
Yeah,
Najib.
welcome.
Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet you.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
We are here at l'Essence de Marrakech, very unique shop with their own laboratory. They also have their own signature scents, inspired by the aromatic landscapes of Morocco. The fragrances embody the country's natural richness and culture elegance. Each olfactory creation reflects the warmth of Moroccan hospitality, the depth of its rituals, and the timeless beauty of its tradition. I invite you to step into my world with Essentiel Elegance, our new sequence within Accessible, where you will uncover the timeless beauty of l'Essence de Marrakech, but also to discover my own beauty style and travel must-have. So, I will await for you on our new sequences of Essentiel Elegance by Joyce. Wonderful Marrakech, what can I say? It is a magical city on its own. By day, the Medina is a maze of colors and traditions, but at night it truly awakens. The glow of lanterns, the aromas of spices, the music in the air, it all feels like the city is inviting us to be part of its rhythm. The nightlife of the Medina is an enchantment of its own. As dusk falls, the narrow streets shimmer with lanterns, casting golden light on dusky souks. Musicians fill the air with melodies. Storytellers gather small crowds, and the aroma of grilled spices drifts through every alley. Cafes spill onto the streets with laughter and conversation, while hidden rooftops offer a quiet view of the stars above. The Medina at night is not just a destination, it's a living theater where tradition and joy meet under the Moroccan sky. From Marrakech, under the Moroccan sun. Flowers, flavors, colors, beautiful soul of Marrakech. I hope that you have enjoyed this whole episode and this beautiful trip with us as we have enjoyed it, making it for you. So next time I'll see you again into maybe a different destination or with another guest. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Big hug from Marrakech from all of us. Bye-bye.